heard of several different types like that. And the tall ones had the big nose rays, they call them.
Big nose, I think Linda Moulton Howe refers to those as the Ebens.
The Evens,
Right.
which they
Well,
mentioned
she
in
called all
the
of
going to other
Oh, she
planets.
does? Okay.
Yeah, and the reason for that was a term that was actually EBE, which
Yeah.
stands for extraterrestrial biological entity.
Right.
And it's not used. The only person who uses that is Falcon, okay?
Interesting. That's probably where she got it from then.
That's where she got it from. But
Yeah.
I cannot tell you that Falcon is Richard C. Doty. I cannot tell you that.
Okay.
I cannot tell you that.
You can't tell us who it is not?
Richard,
Richard
it's not
C.
Richard Doty. Can't tell you that.
Doty?
Doty.
Yeah, you can't
Oh,
tell
is
us
that-
that.
And who was the other guy that was the other character? I forget.
I cannot tell you
Okay.
that Falcon was Captain Robert Carnes. I cannot tell you that.
Okay. Then we won't hear it.
So it was Falcon, and what was the other name? I missed the other name.
The other one it wasn't was Richard C. Doty.
Yeah, but what was the code name? They were both Falcon?
Falcon?
No, Falcon and Condor.
Condor.
There were actually a Avery of 12,
Really?
but those were the two key players.
Oh, interesting.
And they were going to use Inside Edition to break to the world the Carter briefing.
Oh, that's right. I remember you mentioned that. And do you have a copy of the Carter briefing, or is that like
Somewhere.
really? Is that can you find that on the internet or not likely?
Well, yeah, you can.
Yeah. Okay. But
But
it never really got released. Is that what happened? It was.
No, they didn't really take fanfare after that.
It just got buried
Was
for a
that a
long
White
time.
House recorded?
No, it was a bogus document.
Oh, it was bogus.
Oh, I see. I didn't know it was a document. I thought it was a recording.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And, what they wanted to do was go ahead and hurt the UFO community. That became profitable when they got out. They kept going with it. But they had to go ahead and use other people.
Interesting.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if somebody has to go and hide behind a blind or it's just a shadow, I'm not putting stock in that person. If you got something to say, you appear, this is me, with the documents.
Right.
I always say, okay, you know what? You got the documents from me. If somebody says something like a woman yesterday was asking me if she could get in trouble for some of the things she was doing. I said, no. I said, look at this stuff, and I gave her some documents. Actually, she had no idea. She worked with the DIA, and she had no idea about the UFO files they had. I said, you got them right there. I said, well, that was from the other than I said, they do. They're there.
What does DIA stand?
Defense Intelligence Agency.
Okay.
And,
So did she? So once you pointed it out to her, did she give you some of them, or did she give them some to you, or
no, I gave it to her.
Oh, you gave it to her. Okay.
Yeah, she was. It's not my place to talk about her experiences, but she had experiences.
Okay.
And, they saw some things because she, when I was talking about the security clearance being TSSITK, with it being top secret, sensitive information, or sensitive intelligence, talent keyhole, dealing with reconnaissance. Well, but she didn't even know about. She said, okay, well, the satellite went and took pictures of stuff. And they took pictures of some UFOs. And I said, well, yeah. I said, well, they said that wasn't the case. And I said, yeah, it was. I said, and, probably the event that you had was very similar to the Vela incident that occurred with the flash of light that appeared over around close to South Africa. And the U.S. government thought that South Africa set off a nuclear device to test it. We could never ever prove that. If it was nuclear, it was a mystic nuclear device. Because background radiation, when we started checking it out, and that flash of light was checked out more than any other incident in the recorded history of the U.S. monitoring nuclear testing.
Now you said 12 crash retrievals in 24 years about there. Was that what?
22 and a half years.
Can you tell us some of the countries that you went to on those retrievals?
Germany, somewhere in South America, the U.S.,
Brazil? That's a hot spot, isn't it? Brazil was.
But I'm not sure that's where we went. They
don't tell you.
Good telling us.
Well, they put you on a plane and you just yeah.
Really? Wow.
Like
What kind of planes? Would you fly out in probably some jets? I'm guessing they wanted you there quick.
When we went to Vietnam, when we went to recover that B-52, that was a commercial airliner.
Contract.
Interesting.
It was a commercial
And
airliner.
they contracted it for private use?
Place to talk about her experiences, but she had experiences.
Okay.
And, they saw some things because when I was talking about the security clearance being TSSITK, with it being top secret, sensitive information, or sensitive intelligence, talent keyhole, dealing with reconnaissance. Well, what she didn't even know about, she said, okay, well, the satellite went and took pictures of stuff. And they took pictures of some UFOs. And I said, well, yeah. She said, well, they said that wasn't the case. And I said, yeah, it was. I said, and probably the event that you had was very similar to the Vela incident that occurred with the flash of light that appeared around close to South Africa. And the U.S. government thought that South Africa set off a nuclear device to test it. We could never ever prove that. If it was nuclear, it was a mystic nuclear device. Because background radiation, when we started checking it out, and that flash of light was checked out more than any other incident in the recorded history of the U.S. monitoring nuclear. That flash of light was checked out more than any other incident in the recorded history of the U.S. monitoring nuclear testing.
Now you said 12 crash retrievals in 24 years about there. Is that what?
22 and a half years.
Can you tell us some of the countries that you went to on those retrievals?
Germany, somewhere's in South America, the U.S.
Brazil? That's a hot spot, isn't it? Brazil was.
But I'm not sure that's where we went. They
don't tell you.
Good telling us.
Well, they put you on a plane and you just yeah.
Really? Wow.
Like
What kind of planes? Would you fly out in probably some jets? I'm guessing they wanted you there quick.
When we went to Vietnam, when we went to recover that B-52, that was a commercial airliner.
Contract.
Interesting.
It was a commercial
And
airliner.
they contracted it for private use?
And it was a 707. And
What about any of the like Saudi Arabia or any of the Arab countries or Pakistan or India? Did you ever go to those?
No, but I had some dealings with the sightings that took place in, what was it, September 76. I was involved in that.
Where was it? In Saudi
That
Arabia?
right there was in
India?
what was it? They hold some of our prisoners.
Guantanamo Bay?
Iran.
Okay.
And when they were saying, oh, they didn't know anything, they didn't know anything, the Iranians, took serious their aircraft. And, if there was a bolt loose, they didn't fly till they tightened that bolt up. So, you know the story about the Iranian.
I don't. If you want to just summarize it.
Hostages?
Huh?
About the hostages?
No, about this.
No.
About the what?
They picked up this UFO September 17th, 1976. And people were calling in saying they were seeing it. So then the air base close by, the base commander goes out and a couple of the other people were looking at it through binoculars. There it was. They send an F-4 fighter up to intercept it. The F-4 fighter got close enough to it where it could engage it. At that time, they lost onboard communications, both UHF, VHF. So they returned to base. Now they scrambled another F-4. It got within 27 nautical miles of the object. Here again, it was close to where it could engage the target. They tried to fire a air-to-air missile,
Shut them down.
and their weapon system went off. They could not use any of their weapons. But they kept trying to close with the UFO, at which time a smaller UFO came up from underneath of the big one and came towards the F-4 fighter, causing it to go ahead and dive and veer off to the right. Once it was out of range to where it was no longer a threat to the UFO, the smaller object went ahead reunited with the bigger object, and it went down and landed.
When it landed.
And when they went out the next day, they went to the area and they had a home there, you know, farm or whatever. And they went and talked to the people. Well, the people remembered it and said it was like the sun came out at night. And they were looking around. This is the military people went out there. All they could hear was this beeping sound. They could not tell where it was coming from. And of course, they were going to go ahead and do more investigation. But the whole situation is what happened after that, to this day, remains classified.
Really?
And the U.S. was involved.
And you got a hold of this information as it was happening in real time, or more or less, or did you find out later?
No. I got, well, it was in real time. Remember when I told you I was leaking it? I shouldn't tell this. That's how they found out about it, to make a request for the documents. And there was the other documents with the DIA, where they were trying to tell them there's really something to this. And this is one of the best cases on record. And of course, it was like everyone was downplaying it. They wasn't downplaying it. They sent people, once again, right out of Germany and Lindsay Air Force Base again, because that right there had the contact team, the blue fly team, that could go over, and they recovered something. Now, you're not going to find any document that tells you that. But they recovered something, brought it back there to Lindsay, and from there, it was sent off. God knows where, I can't tell you, for Belgrade. But, you know, the whole situation is these things happen, and the one woman, she'll be here later on, I think, she gave me the book.
Patricia, I think it was Patricia.
Patricia, yeah.
The whole situation is, she's got it right when she says that, you know, I think on the front of her book it says hide plain sight.
Yes, hidden in plain sight.
And, you know, it is hidden in plain sight. All we have to do when people see things is, we're not investigating UFOs anymore. Well, yeah, we are. Although we're not calling them UFOs. The whole purpose, when we went to UFOs, was so people would not mistake, you know, UFOs being interplanetary spacecraft. But it's the type of phenomenon that people immediately jump to the conclusion they're interplanetary spacecraft. And, you know, there's a lot of UFO sightings that take place that have very prosaic explanations. Even with the course of Project Sign, all the way up to when it went to Grudge and they were saying we're no longer investigating UFOs. We couldn't get out of investigating UFOs. Condon Committee finally gave us the opportunity to get out. If people took the time to read the Condon Committee, they'd ask why. Professor Condon, he went ahead and said anybody interested in UFOs and investigate, they should be horsewhipped.
Oh, shit.
And, well, he had to say that.
It had to survive.
Well, yeah, he got, you know, the whole situation. Who's going to read an 1,800 plus page report?
That's how many it was, the Condon report, 1,800 pages? That's how they get bills passed in the Senate and
I was
Congress.
going to say, not the people who passed
They
the
wheel them in
Patriot
on a
Act.